There is a murder on the streets of this town every other day. Body after body after body after body.
Stephen Miller, with the help of Fox News, is floating maybe the most dangerous idea that we've heard since Donald Trump became president of the United States a second time. And that's saying something, because there's been some doozies. He has deployed the military into the streets of Washington, D.C., with his masked secret police kidnapping off the streets with no due process members of this community, Americans even. They're arresting people who are just filming them, peacefully standing there filming them. That's something that's happening. So when I say that this might be the most dangerous thing that's been said, the most dangerous thing that's been floated, the most dangerous thing that will precede the thing that he's saying, you should take it seriously. Follow along here. This is important. Fox News made a short out of this specific moment. I'm not going to show you the short because I'm going to show you the full version in an interview with Sean Hannity. But Stephen Miller, the ghoulish little puke, the Nazi wannabe, some would argue full-fledged, Stephen Miller is now attempting to designate the Democratic Party. I want to get his exact quote right because it's adjacent to the thing I want to talk about. The Democrat Party, he says, is a domestic extremist organization. If that's the road they're going down, that this official spokesperson for the President of the United States, this is a person who speaks for Donald Trump, speaks into his ear, and the things that Donald Trump says come from the brain of Stephen Miller. If they want to designate the Democratic Party as a terrorist organization, ultimately is what he's saying, that means, well, there's going to be a whole bunch. That means no funding. That means anyone involved is also a terrorist. That means they will freeze the assets of, they will stop the Democratic Party from existing. And what happens when there's only one party left in the United States and it's the Republican Party? Well, let your imaginations run wild. I want to share this tweet from you, from one of the Pod Save America guys, Jon Favreau. He tweeted in response to this particular Fox News tweet. This is Fox News spreading the word, spreading the gospel of fascism. Stephen Miller on Sean Hannity, the Democrat Party is not a political party, it is a domestic extremist organization. And Jon Favreau quote tweeted with this: senior government official declares the opposition party domestic extremists as military and masked federal agents are deployed to opposition strongholds. Now, he's absolutely right, but he doesn't go far enough. It's a tweet. You can't expect him to go drilling down like I am in this 8 to 10 to 12 minute video, however long this is going to be. I don't know. I'm only 3 minutes in. What should I do here? Let's play the clip, not the short, of exactly what Stephen Miller said, and let's get into exactly the dangerous, fascistic ramifications of his floating this idea.
The Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. Look at Chicago. They've shut down the police department. They've handcuffed law enforcement, and as President Trump says, they have turned the streets of Chicago into a bloody killing field. Here in Washington, D.C., before President Trump launched the federal law enforcement liberation in D.C., there was a murder on the streets of this town every other day. Body after body after body after body. That was Washington, D.C. Residents were afraid to go to restaurants. They were afraid to go into entire neighborhoods. They were getting carjacked right and left, robbed and beaten. That was Washington, D.C. Now we're 2 weeks homicide free, the safest this city has ever been in its entire history. And the Democrats, instead of jumping up and down and saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you for saving our lives, thank you for saving our cities, thank you for scrubbing away all the graffiti, the trash, the homeless encampments, the druggies. Instead of cleaning up the city, instead of thanking him for that, they're saying, President Trump, how dare you save our lives? How dare you save our children? How dare you save our city? The Democrat Party, Sean, that exists today, it disgusts me. I do not recognize that party, Sean.
So first of all, and it just struck me, the body after body after body after body. What is he? Is this a new music act? Is this a new talent? Is he trying to carve out a space in the creative arena? Stephen Miller, have you been listening to too much Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Body after body after body after body. Body after body after body after body.
Well, that's, of course, that's ridiculous. Stephen Miller wouldn't listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, a group comprised of almost 100% black people. An iconic group, by the way, a fan. I've seen Earth, Wind, and Fire maybe 6 times live in concert. I think Stephen Miller's more of a drowning pool guy with the bodies hitting the floor.
Body after body after body after body after body after body after body.
Look, again, when you're faced with existential crisis, if you don't take a little time to boost your mood with a little levity and laughter, you're going to be miserable, and I refuse to be miserable. If I was dedicated to that prospect, here's what I would do. I would continue talking about Stephen Miller and his plans to designate the Democratic Party as a terrorist organization, because he is claiming here in this clip, yeah, that was a real pivot from a little bit of a laugh to this. He is claiming in that clip that you are involved in, you are a member of, I am a member of an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists. That you're aiding and abetting terrorists. That the Democratic Party is not a political party, he says. It's a domestic extremist organization. He says that before he claims that Chicago has shut down their police department, which obviously is untrue. The body after body after body after body, and all of the nonsense about residents being afraid to go to restaurants in Washington, D.C., which is apparently I'm like Jason Bourne. I'm a Rambo type character, that I'm out there able to get into the restaurants on a weekly basis here in Washington, D.C., because I just possess so much badassery that I can do so. So here's the deal. Executive Order 13224 was signed on September 23rd, 2021, not even 2 weeks. Not even, just a few days after 9/11, right? And under this executive order, there are certain characters who can designate terrorist organizations, extremist organizations. Who would they be? They would be the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Treasury, and the Attorney General of these United States. They together, in concert with one another, can determine who the extremist organizations are. And there are punishments for that. Shutting down, financial collapse of the organizations through sanction, through freezing their assets, through prohibiting anyone to be involved with them, to support, give material support to them. If this is what the Democratic Party is, they'll have the legal authority to shut it down. And who are those individuals again? The Secretary of State of these United States, Marco Rubio, bootlicker extraordinaire. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi. You think she's going to do the right thing? Or is she going to be an obsequious ass kisser like she is in every other moment of her life? And the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, who obviously is a sycophant. We're going to rely on them to determine who the extremist organization is or is not? Or are they just going to do whatever Donald Trump says? Because if they do, here are the legal consequences according to this executive order signed on September 23rd, 2001. All property and interests in property of designated individuals or entities that are in the United States or that come within the United States or that come within the possession or control of U.S. persons are blocked. Any transaction, meaning campaign contribution, material support for the Democratic Party, any transaction or dealing by U.S. persons or within the United States in property or interest in property blocked pursuant to the order is prohibited, including but not limited to the making or receiving of any contribution of funds, goods, or services to or for the benefit of individuals or entities designated under the order. And then 4, civil and criminal penalties may be assessed for these violations. This is the precursor, the trial balloon, if you will, to Donald Trump through Stephen Miller, I guess, through Pam Bondi and Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent to label, to name, to designate the Democratic Party as a terrorist organization, as a domestic extremist organization. When they tell you who they are, when they show you who they are, believe them. Donald Trump talking about being a dictator, and he's going to make it illegal to be a member of the opposition party, of the minority party, creating only one party in the United States. All of the fear about communism, all the rambling about liberty versus tyranny. And here we are with Republicans welcoming it. They're rolling out the red carpet for Donald Trump in his dictatorial debut. And if you think I'm being hyperbolic, if you think it's a stretch, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. And that needs to be something you stopped years ago. What do you think? I want your earnest opinion here. Decimate my argument. Prove me wrong. Find the lie, whatever you want to say. I would appreciate your feedback. We can have a conversation in the comments below the video, wherever you're watching it. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate what I do, please help support this work in independent media that I'm doing. You can help produce these videos. There's a few different ways. One, you could just do a super thanks right now on the video. All that money goes to production and helping run this channel. We appreciate it very much. You can also become a channel member right on YouTube. Click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, or even better, monthly. You can go to, not monthly, you go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast, and then you can create a monthly donation to help support this work. We'd appreciate it very much. I'll see you next time. As long as I'm allowed to be genuine and take care of one another.